Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
A couple questions on some of the products that we were talking about last time. I've got 3 different projects that I need some products for, and they're a little bit different than what we normally do. So I just wanted to pick your brain for a sec, if you got a minute. So the first one I think we talked about before. It's this sort of a weird gate, an exterior gate on some nice stone flooring that we wanted to put a shoe or a sweep on that wouldn't damage the bottom of the floor and create a seal. It doesn't have to be for sound, this one. And I think you had given us a few options because it's an extra thick gate. So I think you had shown me like an L shoe or sweep. I don't know if you recall this at all.
I don't, but generally with thicker material, like when it's 2.5 inch thick or thicker, you can take 2 of those L's and put them on either side.
But do you need to have 2 of them?
No, not at all.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't know what they were called or what to really search on your website for those. Can you remind me?
Yes. Are we talking PEMCO?
It doesn't have to be. The sooner that we can get it, the better. I think the most important portion of this is that it doesn't damage the floor, and that it can, doesn't leave marks, and that it is something that is going to be okay outside.
Yeah, anything that you're going to install is going to sweep across the floor, and obviously an automatic door bottom avoids that hassle. I would be looking to do a pile because it will leave the least amount of evidence, I think, on the floor, but an abrasion, I think, is going to fatigue that material.
What is the pile again? That's the felt?
Yeah, it's a real soft one.
Mm-hmm. The main thing is just, I think, trying not to let bugs crawl under. It's sort of a unique application for us, as we normally do soundproofing, but we just happen to be doing other work there. So it is, I don't know if the pile will be okay for that, because a bug can kind of push through that, right?
No, actually, in fact, it's known that bugs absolutely abhor pile and bristle, and that's its hallmark. That's why it's used.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
If you're in the site, here's something to look at. The part number would be DB, as in door bottom, 593, DP, as in Delta Papa. And then hit enter or click go or...
Oh, it's got like a double pile insert. Okay. Yeah, that looks like it could be good. But you were just saying that you were worried that over time the pile will break down.
If you've got a stone floor, I think there's only going to be one winner in that fight.
Only one what?
Winner in that fight. I think the stone floor is going to win.
Got it.
Yeah. So plus, it's a gate. What's the gap below the bottom of the gate to the top of the floor?
Under an inch. I don't recall exactly what it is.
Okay, so that item we're looking at is only 3/8, maybe 1/2 inch at the most. So it might just simply be too short.
Can we not just lower the mount?
You can, depending on how much, you'll see it from the edge, obviously.
Right.
You'll see that's
I'm sorry. Richard, my foreman's calling me. Can I call you right back, or can you hold for a sec?
I will. Why don't you call me back so you're not rushed, and I'll be here all day.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Okay, so you were saying that this one might not work, and that you'd see the gap on the side then. So did you have something else in mind, or?
Well, I think an automatic door bottom is the way to go, so that you're not dragging across, because it's not going to be a big deal day one, day two, but in 5 years, I think it's going to be there's going to be a clear pattern.
Right. Yeah. So I think last time we spoke about this, you were directing me to the low tension automatic door bottom, since this doesn't, this is a manual swing gate with no stop and no latch. So it's something that whoever's closing the gate is going to have to pull it closed, have the button engage, and then slide the slide lock into the post to keep the gate closed. So I don't know if that is a situation where you think you need the low tension or no.
I don't think so, because if they're not going to bolt that gate, then I think it's going to creep open in either event with either spring. But if they're going to manually rebolt it every time, I don't think it matters.
Okay. Okay. I guess the only issue I can see with something like that is because it's a steel gate, we can't mortise in the automatic door bottom in the same way that we would. Well, I guess you could, right? It's I guess it's just a hollow cavity.
You certainly could. I think coming up with the mounting tabs would be a bit of a chore to get it installed there. But knowing actually, you know what you could do? You could just use a hollow metal. You could use a wood door style, because all you then need to do is just die grind open the bottom of it or jigsaw cut it. So you could use a wood door type, and then you'll surface mount that flange on the bottom of the tube structure. So that wouldn't be so awful, but depending on what the actual undercut is, you might be able to use the hollow metal version, which is meant to go in an inverted bottom channel. And that its overall is less than 1 inch. 150 thousandths plus 750. Yeah. So if the Reese part number is 372A. If you've got some room, you might be able to make that hollow metal type work and surface mount it to the bottom.
But surface mounted. Oh, the 1 inch that you were just saying was which dimension?
It'd be the overall height of the unit when it's in the retracted position.
Okay. So I'm confused. You said that it's a surface mount though?
You would end up you wouldn't surface mount it. You would surface apply it to the underside of that bottom tube.
Oh, I see. So it's actually meant as a recess, but you could.
Right.
Wait a minute. I see what this is. So it's a recess. So this isn't meant to be mortise. It's meant to be surface mounted. But what does the recess mean? Just that it's supposed to be just the flange is supposed to be recessed?
So none of it. It's all surface applied. That model, and they all make them, is meant for hollow metal doors. Hollow metal doors have inverted bottom channels. So you would only use it on a hollow metal door because its overall size is perfect when it comes to the standard 3/4 undercut on a hollow metal door when you're using it with a 1/2 inch threshold. So you might be lucky in the sense that your undercut is to the point where, I can just slap this on and walk away.
Oh, that might be nice. Okay, let me double check that. Sorry, my foreman's calling me again. Let me call him right back. I've got one other job to ask you about. Thanks.
I'll be here. Bye.
Okay.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Okay, so I guess I'll double check the measurement on that gate and see if we can use that one, but that seems like it would probably be the best option.
Yeah, I Actually, what I think the best option would be is if you used an automatic door bottom, but you did create a long slot so that you could fit the body of a mortise style that you would normally use in a wood door, because then you would be able to use the pile, which or nylon brush, which is intended for the purpose. I would look at the part number 943A, or even the 430A. I like those because the brush is superior when it comes to contouring itself over an irregular surface, which a stone floor inherently will be irregular.
Right.
That's just, that aluminum bar that's there is going to come down, make contact. The brush is going to sit down. It's
right.
It's
The
going to
430A
take work, the 430A is the neoprene version, but then the 943A would be, and I would only cut that channel, 15/16 or 1 inch at the most, just 30 seconds is what I would cut that channel and fit that body in there. But again, we need to know a couple of things. We do need to know what your undercut is, to make sure that it will reach down as well. We don't want to ask it to go down too far.
Okay, so here I'm going to make myself a note. Let's see here. Okay, undercut. So if it's just a hollow cavity, though, and you are cutting a mortise into the middle of it, won't the metal bend up inwards?
What is it actually made of? Do you know?
I think it's aluminum. I'm not certain.
Well, if it's aluminum, that wall, we'd like to know the wall thickness of the aluminum. If it's 1/8 inch or whatever, we want to make sure it's robust. But I don't think you'd have any sort of trouble like that because the force on that spring's not that much.
Okay.
Especially over that surface area.
Let me ask you this. The height of a lot of these the mortised-in door bottoms, it's like 2 inches or whatever they are. I can't remember off the top of my head, but aren't the bottom styles or the blocking at the bottom, isn't that less than 2 inches? Aren't you usually cutting up through the block?
So if you're going into a standard wood door that you're pulling off the shelf, you are absolutely going through the entire bottom rail of the door. Now, having said that, when doors are manufactured based on knowing the hardware set, the doors are ordered with the proper size structure in the bottom. If you were to spec that from the beginning, you'd have a 6-inch bottom rail or something like that.
Got it. Well, if we're not, and we're just doing what we're talking about, is that a big deal? Is that going to be something that, we've been doing it for years like that and just going through the style or the block. So is that a problem?
So I've never heard it being a problem in air quotes, but I have noticed it myself when I've been in hotels. And I always said to myself, someday I'm going to bring my caliper and I'm going to see what it is in the middle of the door than at the bottom of the door, because I'm pretty sure that those things splay out a little bit. Not to the point where anyone's ever mentioned it, but I'm convinced that 1.75 is not what they measure there.
Interesting. Okay. So it's not the end of the world in typical applications. And in hotels, probably even, obviously getting more use probably than a normal home install or an office door or something, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. But, however, in a hotel, you're also going to have, those are going to be fire-rated doors, so they're going to be built for it. But it has occurred to me when I've seen it in certain areas that, that's no longer 1 3/4.
Got it.
But your experience tells us it's not, no one's ever called you and say, boy, my door split wide open.
Right. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the other two jobs I've got. So one of them is a standard interior door on carpet that we're doing the adhesive seals, the triple fin white seals on the perimeter, and then I just need a good sort of sound rated bottom sweep that's going to go on the door for carpet, white.
So again, just a manual sweep?
Yeah, not an automatic.
Okay.
She actually wants it to drag for, it's a long story, but take my word for it.
Yeah. So again, bristle is the preferred model
For
when
sound?
it comes to when it comes to carpet. And unfortunately, when it comes to white, there aren't lots of options. So a Pemco 18041, and here are the letters: PWNB, Papa Whiskey November Bravo.
Okay.
And that's a short little bristle, and that's the short one. Then they get larger from there. 5/8, even bigger, bristle length.
And this is, it's white aluminum. Interesting. Okay. And so, but for sound, do you think this is okay?
I would not say that it's necessarily good or awful for sound, but my concern is using something like a sponge neoprene. I just think that's going to be pretty dreadful to try to drag that over the carpeting.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the triple fin type style. Wouldn't that be a good option on carpet?
That stuff's a bit tacky in the sense of if you put it down and ran your finger over it. But getting something onto the face of the door in a triple fin, I would think you'd have to mount it to the underside of the door. And
yeah, I'm thinking of like basically the cheesy Home Depot kind that just slide on.
Right.
And you screw it in the face, and it's a U shape, and it just cups the bottom of the door, and it's got the fins, and that's pretty much it. But the kind that are a little better sound rated.
Right. Okay. So let me look at what Pemco has. They have I'm looking at Pemco because of the white. So they do have exactly what you just described. That part number is 2170 WV, Whiskey Victor.
White vinyl?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Assuming it's an 1 3/4 thick door.
It might not be because it's an interior, and it may even be a hollow core door. So, and the client knows. I told her that this might be an issue. And she's trying to get in because they're working on the place right now, so she doesn't have access. And so I told her if she can figure out the thickness, that would be helpful. If it's an interior hollow core door, it's almost certainly 1 3/8.
Yeah. Well, check this out. What if you put that on your table saw and cut it between the first and second, and then the second and third, took one of the fins out, and then screwed it from both sides? Or bought two of them and then slit it that way, and then put one on each side.
Why would you need to take one of the fins out?
Because you got to shrink it down. You got to go.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Yeah, we could do that. They don't make an 1 3/8 one?
No, sir.
Okay.
Pemco does have. Here's another one. It's not available in white. Well, if somehow you're able to get it white, like have someone powder coat it, a 2203 AV, Alpha Victor, that might be perfect.
I don't think they're looking to spend whatever kind of money is going to be needed to make it look super beautiful.
Yeah.
So I would probably say it's not an option, but let's pull it up and just take a look. I mean, I don't think there's any reason. Okay, I see.
Or you could ditch the entire idea of having it mandatory to be finished and go with a 2, 3, 4 AV, and that's just going to screw to the bottom of the door and you won't see it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, as an option too. The only difference there, I guess, is that you can't necessarily, it has to be the right cut though. No?
It does. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because what is the height on this?
1/2 inch.
Okay. Yeah. See, I just need to tell her that we're going to need access for this part because we just can't know. We need to know these details in order to really figure out what product to use. Okay. So then so then the last project is a double door. It is going to need an astragal. I think we're going to also use the, let me double check. I think we're doing the adhesive steels on this one as well. What's the name? Luke. Perimeter seals. But yeah, I guess we're gonna need the astragal, and then my foreman has always told me automatic door bottoms are not good for double doors because you have that gap in at the bottom. That the sweeps are the better option. Is that what you think as well?
Well, you do have, you certainly do have that Achilles heel of that design. Now, let me kick it up a notch on that application, and bear with me. Okay, I had to think of something. I forgot their name. I'm going to give you a part number that you're going to say, this is the way to go.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the part number. It's an awfully long part number. Do you want to hop into live chat, or shall I just, if you hop into live chat, I can just post the link there, or I can give you the, okay, so click live chat in the upper right-hand corner of the site. I don't think you have to enter anything.
Yeah, name and email.
Leave it blank. I don't think you need that. There you are.
Well,
okay.
I already clicked it.
Now click that link that I just posted there.
Okay.
So what that goofy thing is, it's a pair of L angles that are maybe 4 by 4, 5 by 5, whatever they are. You run horizontally the same size sweep, and then you run vertically the same size astragal, and it makes a continuous seal. Really slick.
And they go surface mounted on the doors themselves, or?
They would be, yes.
And then what about the perimeter at the jam?
You would have to come up with something for that if you wanted to. Is this a pair of hollow metal doors?
No, it's interior wood doors, and it's for soundproofing also. So I don't know. This looks like a pile again, so I'm not sure this is going to work for sound.
Yeah, no, that would not be good for that. Well, can you mortise into the edge of the door?
We can. we've already sort of quoted this job with the labor that we've gotten. That wasn't part of it,
Yeah.
which is a huge deal, but
It would
we've
be a
always
huge
just
deal.
used.
It'd be
It
a
would
ton
be?
of work. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yes. I mean, regardless of it being an automatic or surface sweeps, you're not able to really seal that as well as you would like to. I might be tempted to use a surface mounted, it's a pair of doors. Are both doors active at both times?
No, no. In fact, they said that it's unlikely they'll even use the other one.
Yeah. So maybe what they can do is apply, if the doors are in swing, apply a single astragal that would have a neoprene, a open cell neoprene, so that it will lay over the face of the active door when it closes against it. And
yeah, that's normally what we use, I believe.
Yeah, and then at the bottom, you might be able to miter the bottom of that to fit your sweeps in as tight as possible. And then I would probably be looking to augment all of that with putting stuff on the rabbet of the frame as well, on the two sides and at the header.
Well, we would be using the I forget the number, but the Pemco, the S something. It's that triple fin.
Yeah, the S773. You've bought. There have been 2 orders very recently for it.
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, that was probably what we were going to use at the perimeter. And let me see here. Okay. Yeah. So what was that astragal? I'm pretty sure I bought that before. What is the number on that?
So you might look at some. Does that have to be white?
No. These can be anodized.
Okay. So here's an idea: 368 CN, as in Charlie November.
Okay.
And then it would just literally be variations on that: thinner, wider, thicker. That's probably on the thick side, but it's nonetheless. You know what they could also do?
Yeah, go ahead.
What about I mean, it would look gross, but what about a pair of the magnetic style? That would that'd seal it up pretty tight in the center.
Yeah, I think we've got a set of that from a job that we did where we bought those and didn't end up using them. And they go then on the outside of the doors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've got those. I think I'd rather use this one that looks a little nicer.
Yeah.
When you said, you said 368 CN?
Yeah. Yes. 368 Charlie November. Yes, sir.
Oh, so this is for the sweep.
Well, you know, order it 6'8" and then turn it vertical, and now it's an astragal. So.
Oh, got it. Okay. Got it.
And then there's also, you know, interlocking material as well that you could use at the jams and the header.
I'm gonna have to call you back again, Foreman. But I'm interested in what you're saying. Let me call you right back.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye. There is an interlock style as well that is that may be quite effective to use, and pulling up a part number here for that. Okay, where did it go? There it is. So you could do there's two part numbers, 335AR and 336AR. And that, you kind of have to look at them together. If you search 335AR, go to page 2. And then you'll see the two pieces nested together.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
You know, they don't necessarily, they've not been sound infiltration tested, but, you know, there's got to be something to it. I mean, that's a pretty solid seal. That's a neoprene that's down in there.
Interesting. And this would be for what? Just the general perimeter and top?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could use that on the vertical sides. You know, it would work at the header as well.
Buy this over like the normal stuff that we use, like the 296 or 285 or whatever?
No, I can't say that as a replacement. I'm thinking when you're trying to do a belt and suspenders approach. You know, it would be an option. When you study the sound, the STC documentation from people like Zero and others, they always have something on the rabbet of the frame augmenting.
Yeah, we'll do that when it comes to things that are not just human speech. If we're doing a studio or particularly pernicious sound situation, but if it's just speech and we're just like, this is a home office, then we tend to just be fine doing the singular, either the adhesive triple fin Pemco seals or the surface mounted, 296 or whatever around the perimeter. That seems to be fine. And then if we want some extra protection, then we'll go ahead and put something on either the rabbet or the width space of the door itself, the 1 3/8 or 1 3/4 space of the door.
Yeah, the edge.
That's like the second seal. So then hold on, let me see here. What about, so is the one that you just told me for the Astrogol, what was the number again?
I think it was 369.
368.
Yeah, 368 CN.
So I've got the one that we ordered last time we did double doors is 375. Is that the same thing as the 368?
Very much the similar concept. Absolutely.
Okay. Any reason to pick one over the other? Only from a dimensional perspective, if for some reason you had to tweak the dimensions. Let's take a look at that. I know we had an issue with the adhesive 375, like the actual piece of seal kept peeling off of the aluminum. We had to end up going and getting some additional adhesive. I don't know if that's something that was just...
Well, that would be a reason to go with the 368.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so let me tell you about the 375 and why that's the case. Now, you'll notice that the 375 is available in architectural bronze, meaning it's $1 million a foot because it's solid brass. So what happens is
what we got,
okay, so in these northern climates, literally, the thought is that if it gets frozen and someone opens the door, that the neoprene is going to come out and the holder will be intact because you can just order more neoprene and then glue it back on. And that's told to me by someone who's been making weather stripping since the 1930s.
Because otherwise the door would not open?
Well, you'll open it, but because they're going to pull it open, but it'll deform and bend the brass that's inside there.
I see.
And they also have
Interesting.
types like that that are scored down the back in case that happens. It's meant to tear off. If it, I've had a guy call me and say your sweep is defective. No, it's not. I mean, tell me what happened. He's like, look at it. It had ripped half off. It ripped off. And I find out that the guy admitted that he had to tell me that that the kid's shoe was there, or whoever's shoe, and he pushed the door over the shoe. I says, no, that's I'm sorry, but that's the way that's designed. It's meant to tear off. I said, the good news, he spent $150 on a door sweep. I said, the good news is you don't have to buy a whole new door sweep. You just have to do some carpentry after I send you some foam.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the 386 or the 280, whatever it was, 386 is the way to go.
368. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then you think these same shoes that you were telling me for that other job, the 2203 AV would be the good shoes to use then, along with that Astragal?
Well, I think it meets your criteria. It's inexpensive. It's if they've got 1 3/8, it's surface mounted. It's available. It's not available in white, but I think that.
No, this one doesn't have to be white, and this is 1 3/4.
The 2203 is for an 1 3/8 model.
Oh, okay. I guess if we're doing 1 3/4, maybe what was the number for the one that just goes under the door? Under the door is as I'm scrolling in the wrong direction, here it is, 234 AV or APK. No, 230. Oh yeah, sorry, 234 AV, right. That's one that goes under the. Okay, so that's the 1/2 inch one, and we're building these doors to spec, so we can choose how big of a reveal that is. So that would be perfect. We could just put that one in underneath, and then a threshold. Oh, I guess we would just need. Tell me again the reason that the thresholds are fluted for traction, right?
Well, most definitely for traction. And so, and I've, absolutely for traction. I think that they're also fluted for strength as well, in my opinion, in such a way. While it thins the material out, I'm led to believe that in certain instances it's got everything to do with strengthening because of the irregular profile to it, making it more stable. However, it works against us when we're trying to seal as well, and that's where a nylon brush style may be better, because if you're overlapping these plateaus and valleys, you might want something to project into that. Right. Well, that's kind of why I like the triple fin, or in this case, the quintuple fin, is because it allows for a little bit of variation in the threshold to make contact at various different points. But I mean, if you were going to put a threshold down, is this what you would use for the best sound? For double doors, we're not going to use the automatic door bottom. Is this the best option for the bottom of the door, do you think? For speech, I would say yes, but I would probably be looking to use an item that's going to give me lots of surface area like that. So here's another part number, 2343 AV. I'd probably like something with some dead space and a triple fin, but which does carry an a sound transmission rating, or at least it's been tested, whereas the 234 does not. Okay. But I would always be trying to use sponge neoprene, open cell neoprene. However, that's not really used in door bottoms. Just put it on the bottom of the door, kind of door bottom. Right. But this one's sound rated, the 2343. Okay. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's the way to go. And then we've got 11/16, so this one's a little bit more than 1/2 inch on the bottom. Yeah, what you could also do is route the bottom of your door a little bit to suck that up, get that aluminum housing up into the bottom of the door. Not to complicate it, but So here's one more, since if you've got 1 3/4 doors, and I know you like that triple fin, here's the part number: 3692 A PK 773.
Oh wow, there's the one with the double with your air gap. I see. Interesting. Okay. The other thing is for this order, and I may have been helpful for me to have told you this before, but what is an option? Are any of these things going to be? Are they all subject to the PEMCO? You know, they tell you
lead time?
It's really 4 weeks lead time. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is. PEMCO's not gotten better or worse. The problem, you know, I'm shaking my head as I'm stammering. You know, I wish they could ship stuff out super quick. It's just the problem is they can't. They've got, you know, 5,000 orders in front of ours, and the other people that do this stuff don't have the diversity of the product line that they do. I mean, I like other people. I like PEMCO. I like other people. And I would prefer to use other people because they can ship it out much more reliably, which is why I'm always going down the Reese highway. But their product line, their product offering is substantially limited as compared to PEMCO.
So of all the stuff that we talked about for this most recent job, so the not the white one, but the double door one with the Astrogol and all that stuff, is any of that, or I guess all of it has to be, because if we get even one thing from PEMCO, then we're already subject to that anyways. Are all of those things that we could get from Reese, or no? I imagine you would have told me if they were.
Yeah, not really. You know, where PEMCO has 7 pages of variations, these guys have 1. And it's not, you know, there just aren't the options. Plus,
and Zero's just as bad with the lead time.
Zero, yes, they are. They, you know, these people, yes, they are. They wouldn't say their lead time is bad, but they don't realize that the world wasn't built on a 3-week lead time. You know,
right.
So, yeah.
I cut you off. You were about to say something else. Sorry.
No, not at all. I'm just, you know, I would like the lead times to be faster. You know, we've substantially increased our stock level. It's just, there's just not enough room to stock everything that you could possibly sell.
Yeah.
And there's not proper history to really keep the stuff on hand.
Right. There's so many different kinds of things. Totally understand. Okay. Okay. I think I've got what I need. I'm going to go back to the client with a few of these things, and then I'll just place the order online. If I have any other questions, I'll give you another call.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Richard. You're always great. Appreciate the help.
I look forward to that. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
I went over a few different jobs that I was working on that I needed some specialty sound seals for.
Yeah, vaguely I do, sure.
Okay. So I just had a couple questions I wanted to go over with you if you got a couple minutes.
Sure.
Great. Okay, so one question I had, just a general question, the silicone sponge insert versus the neoprene sponge versus the PEMCO preen. Can you tell me what the difference is between those?
Well, the PEMCO preen is more of a hybrid silicone. It's not spongy at all. It's just more of it's like a neoprene insert, but I find it to be a bit more flexible. And the silicone sponge and the neoprene sponge, the silicone is has a greater amount of elasticity to it. You can compress it easier, and it retains its original shape. The PEMCO, the neoprene sponge, you can't compress it nearly as much, and it's stiffer in the process of doing that.
Okay. Interesting. What applications do you find work best for those 3 different kinds?
Well, on the third, I would say just water intrusion. And then on the first 2, it would be a matter of acoustical attenuation. but I really can't speak
Sorry.
to why.
Sorry to interrupt. Which one are you calling the third, and which are the first two?
The Pemcoprene in the order: silicone sponge, neoprene sponge, and then the Pemcoprene. The sponge ones, I would say, are for acoustical attenuation, and I can't really speak to the silicone being better for that because I just see neoprene all the time.
For sound?
Yes.
So neoprene's typically the one that's used for sound.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's funny because I thought the Pemcoprene, because it says that it's for sound, but I found that it's real, what's the word? Flimsy compared to the sponges.
Yeah. They've probably, tested them all. It's just a matter of that, they haven't provided the data, of which one might have scored better. My guiding light on that is, what do they use in STC ratings? Well, open cell neoprene, so let's go with that one.
Got it. So that's the standard, like the 296 with neoprene insert. That's the way to go, huh?
Don't know. 296.
Well, I just meant the extrusion being irrelevant. I guess more just the insert being the neoprene insert is the better option.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Open cell neoprene. Yes.
Okay. I'm assuming that the black sponge neoprene is open cell. Is that what you're referring to?
Sponge, yes, sir. Sponge equal open. Yeah. Closed cell would be like a wetsuit for a diver or car tires.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I guess that answers my question for what I'm going to do on the perimeter. So then in the meantime, so that's my general question. I've got like 4 or 5 different orders that I'm placing for different jobs, and there's different timelines. If I order just as one big order on the website, is it going to separate? I think it usually does, but where it ships out whatever's ready when it's ready, as opposed to waiting for everything to be ready to ship at once?
With different manufacturers, the case is yes. We release everything and just let those hounds run. If it's a single manufacturer, they generally ship complete.
I see. So if I have, let's say, 2 different jobs, both with Pemco seals, they're going to wait till all of the Pemco items are ready before they ship, even if that means one of the 6 items is going to take longer than the other 5.
As a rule of thumb, they would, unless we tell them to ship partial.
Got it. Okay. And then are there any shipping? I know that there's certain things like the 4131, which is not something that we need right now, but there's those certain fast ship items. How do I figure out which ones those are?
So they would literally say in the site Pemco flash ship, and they would be ordered as flash ship items. Now, the easiest, well, it's never easy, but they do have a published list of those items on flash ship. Do they? Here it is, Pemco flash ship stock list. Okay, so the way to know what is available is to look at the flash ship stock list. That stuff ships out really quick. I can email you it as an attachment.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if there's alternatives to what I'm ordering that would come quicker. For one of the jobs that I'm working on, I need the quickest available option for like just perimeter seals and bottoms, for example.
Right.
Yeah. Or like if there's an equivalent of the 368 Pemco, the door bottom sweep that you told me to use as the Astragal.
Let's take a look. Yeah, sure, 368.
Something that would ship quick.
So they do keep. Well, let's look. They don't keep 368 on the flash ship at all. Yeah, many of the items here are the real garden variety items. That 368 is definitely not on flash ship.
Let's see. Okay, well, I'll take a look at the list you sent, I guess. And then, where's the cutoff for over length shipping for length of like a door seal, perimeter seal height?
You certainly want to keep it to 90-inch and less. However, the rules continue to change. As it gets longer than 36, that's where the curve really starts to arc up, on the XY axis. It really starts to move vertical. So after 90-inch, it gets obscene. But anything between 36 and 90 costs more than just 36 and shorter.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's always going to be more than 36 for the sides. I'm just wondering, like, when I need to make sure I let the client know they've got basically an oversized door. It sounds like it's anything over 90.
True. I would say if the door is taller than 7 foot, tell them to brace themselves.
Really? Even like an 86 inch is going to be.
Well, 86 would be okay, but when the door is taller than 7 foot, if you've got 8-foot doors, now we have trouble. It's really 7'6".
Okay, 7'6". Okay, got it. Okay. Okay. So the 372A, I think you had shown me that one as a possibility. So I don't know if you recall, we had that exterior gate that was that like aluminum welded gate. And you're telling me to go with this surface mounted door bottom that had like the low profile drop so that it was made to just surface mount, even though it's called a recess mount.
Right.
Is there a version of this that comes in the pile, or is it just the vinyl?
Let's see. Okay, the inverted bottom channel. There is actually. So it's not by Reese. Let's take a look. Okay, so that part number is not in. Zero has added it to their site, and I'm going to send you their catalog and refer to the page number. Page 51. It's not, well, actually, it's not pile. It's nylon brush.
Okay. I mean, you said that the whole point for the brush was for insects, which is this one application that we're doing happens to not be soundproofing, and it is, in fact, for insects. So it sounds like that would be better than the 372.
Yeah, it would be, and irregular surfaces like you have on a concrete, sort of sill.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I think you had recommended the 943, but it's too tall, and we were afraid we couldn't mortise it into the this aluminum housing.
Right. Yeah. Well, yes, that is pretty tall. If the tubing would probably have to be 2 by 2 in order, or some. Well, yeah, at least that.
If they even have tubing.
Right.
They may not, because it's just an aluminum door.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty large. There are of course smaller versions of it, but then they just become standard duty versions of it. Although that page, that Zero page that I'm sending you, or that catalog, has, I don't see a mortised pile or bristle, which.
I mean, I'd rather not mortise it if possible.
Right.
Just because I don't want to cut into that structural part of the bottom with, no blocking.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I will send you that catalog. Yeah, that pile might work there, but it's, you're going to need an inch and a quarter underneath the gate, an inch and a quarter to
I don't
inch
have
and
it.
3/4.
Nope, I only got half an inch.
Oh, okay. So yeah, nothing's going to fit underneath there in that regard.
The 372 is 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this gate
I think
double
we looked
acting?
Still acting. I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to fit into that small area and be automatic.
And what about the and be automatic, right? So we can still do something like the 153A and surface mount that, and that way we can just drop it down to wherever. It's just going to then drag on the floor is the issue.
Yeah, I would look in Reese's catalog and go with a polyurethane because that insert is so abrasion resistant. For
like
that,
do you have an idea of a number I can search for?
Yeah, let's see. Where is there? Well, shoot. Okay. You could do a Okay, so a part number would be DB as in door bottom 593 AU Alpha uniform.
Let's see. Inch and 3/16 high. Half inch on the bottom. Yeah, that could potentially work. So there's nothing like this that has the nylon brush at the bottom. Isn't that the best for what you're talking about?
Yeah, they do have their, you could change the AU to AP, and that would give you pile.
Was the issue, I can't remember, you told me something about the issue with the pile that maybe it'll wear the stone over time or something?
Well, I think in this case, I don't think pile is going to last very long against a masonry,
That's what it was. Okay.
Condition. But yeah, the AP would be pile.
So you don't think the AU is going to cause any kind of patina or anything on the floor over time of the stone?
I think that it would. I think dragging it across the surface is over time going to potentially leave some sort of evidence of it.
So really, just any automatic is really the way we want to go. If we can potentially pull off that 372, that would be best.
Yeah. There's just nothing that's going to stick underneath there.
Yeah. Unless we mortise it in.
Yeah, you'd have to, have a cut sheet of that bottom, what that structure looks like at the bottom of the gate. If it's a hollow square or rectangular tube, or an extrusion, it should be pretty easy to work within.
So if it's hollow, I mean, I guess I just want to make sure that it's rigid enough if we're, if it's 3 inches thick and we're mortising a, 1 1/4 inch or whatever it is thick automatic door bottom, I guess that should be fine. That's still plenty of lip on either side of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally be concerned about compromising the integrity of that aluminum tube for this, because you're not twisting it, you're not trying to torque it and snap it, and the forces that will be generated on it will be lateral to the tube itself. So it's
right. So which one was the one that, if we could mortise one in, would be the best one that we decided?
Yeah, so it will, of course. Well, it'll be dependent on how big that tube is. P51. Okay, so I'm going to send you the Zero catalog now, and that would be, you could probably take a look at. Well, if you want. Well, the issue with those guys is I don't love their lead time for small orders. Although it's a really nice unit. How wide is the gate?
36.5.
Okay, so all right. So I've here's the part number 369 AA. And I keep 3-footers of that in stock, ready to ship.
3 foot. It's, even though it's 36.5.
Yeah, the seal will run a little long. It's not going to run hard all the way to the outside of the door.
Well, if we do. Yeah, just be worried because, you'd have to keep the end off then, right? If you wanted to keep the seal longer than the cartridge, you couldn't put the end on.
And actually, having it a little shorter might suit to maintain the concern about integrity, because you wouldn't be slicing all the way through the bottom of the channel, turning it into just a big inverted aluminum piece. You could leave the very small ends there, but you're not going to have the seal run all the way as wide as you would otherwise.
Yeah, they're real concerned about bugs getting through. So I mean, any gap is going to allow the bug to just go around.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we'd have to go all the way to the edge. Unfortunately, which means what? Getting a 40? Can a 40-inch be cut down to a 36.5? Normally, there's only like a 2-inch that you can cut down before you get past that set screw.
Well, it can be. That'd be okay, but we would just order it from the factory the actual size, unless you wanted it to come out longer. I would say get it closer, like 38-inch.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. I was just looking at the list here, and it looks like it goes from 36 to 40.
Oh, that's just how we have it listed. We can every, fractional size in between.
Okay. Yeah, this does look like a good one. Is it? Oh, it needs a specific handing.
You don't have to specify any handing. We like to know the handing at the time of order, but it's non-handed.
Yeah, why is that? I've wondered that often with certain ones that don't appear to be handed.
So it's purely because I like to review the order and catch mistakes, and 1 out of 100 times I catch a mistake.
Got it. Okay. And what makes this one, the 0 one, any better or different than like the standard? I don't know, 4131 or whatever. Or 411.
Because it is the amount of surface area that you've got making contact is substantially greater. But really, the number one thing from a consumer perspective is that the sound when you are opening the door is substantially muffled because of how the neoprene comes up and wrap over the drop bar. it's a very muted sound, what you have there. I've had people call and say, this is unacceptable. What do you mean? Well, it makes a noise when I open the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So then let me, well, I've got one other order I want to run by you, or maybe it's a second, maybe there's two. This is the only one it looks like I'd have to have you place for me because I would need the 38 that's not on the website, and the rest I can do on my own. So let's go back. I'll bookmark this and we'll go back to it. The other one, so I don't know if you recall this, I'd sent you a video of a window, a connection between a wall that's bisecting a window in an office, as they often do, and there's that gap then between the wall and the glass.
Yeah.
But instead of it being just a regular piece of glass, it's an operable window. And so we were going to put, you remember that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you had told me, I made notes about everything, and I can't find a note about that one except for that maybe the 95A was the one that we were looking at, but I thought I remembered you telling me that wasn't going to work for some reason, or maybe the lip insert wasn't long enough. I don't recall, because it doesn't show on the cut sheet on the website what the lip dimension is. But I recall you saying something about that being an issue.
Yeah, let's find that. Okay. Okay, so the 95 has a 1 and almost 3/8 length of that neoprene.
Oh, okay. So then that's plenty, because we had, I think, anywhere between 1/4 and 7/8 was the difference.
Yeah, and the idea was to cut it or notch it around that, the step at the bottom, at the sill, and then,
And what were we going to do, I mean, I guess this is a decision that I would make, but we were going to do one of these on each side of the wall. I think that was the idea, right?
Yeah.
Or was there another option you thought of?
There wasn't, actually, and I've thought about this exact application. One of those on each side, and then something with a pile on the inside edge, if you could have managed to get it attached, that would in a very non-abrasive sort of sense, just allow the glass to slide across it. Some sort of, I don't recall the dimension between the butt end of the wall and the face of the glass, but something just to augment it there.
And the pile would be, because that's not going to really help with sound, so what would that be? What would be the thought behind doing that?
Just having something there rather than open space. I think you had thought about having a double or a triple fin there as well, and that may have been actually where we landed on that.
Yeah, the multi-fin. Well, I think you had mentioned that the 381A and maybe modifying that, and I was just looking at that again, trying to figure out what we came up with for that, like cutting off one of the legs to be able to install it.
Yeah, well, that's correct. The 381A, or they have a 3546. That's a triple fin, and it was again just a matter of not leaving open space there. You'd have to get it attached, because I don't think and or shoot, yeah, I don't think any other way other than mechanically fastening it is going to work. So if you've got enough room where you can use a some sort of a socket sort of driver where you can get the screws put in a right angle drill attachment, it'd be a matter of getting.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, or even just glue, just like using adhesive and strapping it in.
Yeah, 3M adhesives are really great. I'm thinking long term. I'm suspicious of it working long term.
Yeah, I thought maybe the other option we could do is even just get a piece of wood. I mean, just something to fill that gap like we talked about, because if the 95A is going to cover up whatever's behind it, since it's making contact with the glass, I mean, you can put anything in there to, that's not going to, as long as it's an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch away from the glass, it doesn't impede it from moving back and forth, and it just blocks that gap, then that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll figure out what we're going to do for that then. Okay. Last item was I think I talked about this, but we were waiting to get the thickness of the door, because I needed to get a standard door bottom for an interior door that's going to be dragging over carpet. This is the weird one where the client actually wanted it to drag.
Yes.
So I think we kind of stopped looking for a moment because we weren't sure what the thickness of the door was, and I think there were only like certain options in white. But now I know it's 1 3/8.
Yeah. Were you thinking about that L-shaped door bottom as well?
So there was the 153A.
Right.
Or which one? Is that the one you mean?
Let's take a look. 153. Who was that by?
0.
Yeah, let's look. 153. Right. Yeah, that's the original. That's where we started. It would work on an 1 3/8 thick door, just barely, but it would work. That's not available in white. And what was the gap below the door?
I don't know what the gap is, but I think what we were hitting up against was the white, because this 153A, we were going to use it for a different job where we didn't need. I think we were going to use this for the double doors that we were going to do. It was either this 153A or we were going to use the Pemco 234, the vinyl insert that goes underneath the aluminum door shoe. But for this one, I think we were trying to figure out what was something that was white that could just be surface mounted, like the L or U shape that just slides onto the bottom, like the Home Depot type door bottom.
Right. Yeah. So let's see what Pemco has in terms of something like that in white, because they're the ones who do white. In that catalog section. Yeah, well, they don't do white in that. They do. I would think that they will do like the part number 211 APK. They don't list it in white, but they do so much else in white that I'd like to ask them if they can do it in white.
What's the difference between that one and the 153? Oh, just that it's Pemco. It's basically the Pemco version of the 153.
Yeah, and the concept is, getting them to do it in white.
Got it.
Because 0 doesn't do any white at all.
What's the I mean, those like Frost King or whatever the brand that, that like cheapo Home Depot one. What is that? Those like vinyl slide-on door bottoms.
Well, generally, you see those in metal clad doors where the bottom of the door has been manufactured to receive that. And sometimes they're slid on or crimped on, or they're even stapled on.
Right. I guess they're not sound rated per se, but if it's vinyl and it's got like 4 or 5 fins, I wonder how,
And that
I'd love to buy a sound rated one, but if it's going to be like this whole process of getting a special order for them to make it white, it's probably going to be 6 months out,
Well, that was the 2170 WV, 2170 Whiskey Victor. Yeah, and we had talked about modifying that so that it would work on your door thickness.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because this was the 1 3/4.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Unnotched white vinyl. Oh, that's weird. When you click on that one, it says, the title says unnotched white vinyl, but then at the bottom it says unnotched dark brown vinyl.
Just a typo. I'll get that fixed. Yeah, I see that. It's
Okay.
literally just a typo.
Okay. So that's right. We had talked about cutting it out and doing it both sides. But we weren't worried about it dragging because it won't be secured at the bottom. That it'll tug at the one anchor point on the side of the door if the bottom is unsecured.
Yeah, run a couple of, run 3 or 4, panhead screws underneath there, like number 6s with a tiny washer.
Right. Right. But at that point, I guess the issue is like if we're trying to, not like it's a huge difference in labor costs, but to take off the door, not take off the door matters a little bit. And so if we're taking off the door anyways, then we might as well just use one of the ones that just go under the door, like the 3546 or the these other ones that we had talked about for the other job that we were doing, like the 234 AV, where all it does is mount underneath.
Right. Yeah, definitely don't want to, pull in a door. It becomes a 2-person operation.
Right. So that's why I was hoping to get one that just slides on. But if we're going to get the, so there's no L-shaped ones, huh? That come in white. Or I guess that's what you're saying is maybe that Pemco. Which one was it that you thought maybe we could get painted? The 2170?
Yeah.
Or no?
Let's see. The 211 or the 2170.
That's right. It was the 211 because the 2170 is already white. That was the whole issue.
Right.
That
Exactly.
it's too thick.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, although okay. Yeah, there's obviously L-shaped ones that fit that don't drag. Like, so maybe you don't need to put a screw in if we did modify the 2170.
Yeah, only because the extrusion's aluminum. This is going to be vinyl. There would be some movement on it. I don't know if it would be a problem. It would depend on how much bind there was.
Right. Okay, so she wants the white here. So what do you think we would need to do to find out if they could sell us a 211?
This just takes me asking them.
Is it 211 or 2113?
That's a good one too.
Wait. Oh, Okay. When I type in 211, the 2113 comes up. Is there a 211?
Yeah, but we have to put the finish after it, so 211A, and then go to the bottom of page 1.
Okay. Okay. Well, will you find out then if we can get that in white and let me know in either one of those? I guess. I mean, you know what we're looking for, so just anything in white. And then I'll place the order online for all the other stuff that we need. And in the meantime, that one item that is not on the website, do you want to like wait till I place the order and then add it onto there, or a separate order for that 0369?
Oh, yeah. Well, what I'd like for you to do is simply order the 40-inch and write in the comment field to ship it at 38-inch or whatever you'd like. That's just normally how we do it.
Okay. I will do that. Comments. So I have to select the handing. So this one doesn't matter, so I can select anything for the handing?
Exactly.
Should I mention that it'll be modified to 36.5? Because I know one time we ordered something like this, and it came cut,
yeah.
But that sort of defeats the purpose, because if they cut a 40-inch down to 38, then we still need to take off another 1.5 inches, and if we can't do that because the set screw is where it should be for the 40-inch, and you can only take 2 inches off. You know what I mean?
Definitely indicate in the comment field to, ship this at 38, but to allow the provision for us to trim it in the field to 36-inch or thereabouts.
Got it. Okay. I think I've got that there. Okay. Let me just make sure that this works. Okay. Sometimes, I don't know if anyone's mentioned this to you on the website, but sometimes if you're not logged in and you start adding things to the cart and then you log in after the fact, it erases what you had in the cart.
So the only time I see that is when there's been a 20-minute or greater amount of time that has elapsed. The site is programmed to do that within a 20-minute period. We're
20 minutes of no activity, or just 20 minutes total?
No activity. If you move that mouse button at 19 minutes 55 seconds, it starts that clock over. Our next back-end release, which is hopefully in January, we'll do away with that and actually make it infinite. Not infinite, but a very large number. Okay,
good. Cool. All right, I think I've got all I need. I'll wait to hear back from you about that white item, and I'll place the rest of the order here in a minute.
I've already emailed Temco, and I'll let you know as soon as I hear back.
Awesome. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate the help.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.